Hi, I'm S.G. Brownlow with Adept Psychology. Today I'd like to talk about what you really need to do to get your life together and live the life you were intended to live. I think people have this misunderstanding that if they just learn something different, if somebody tells them how to do it, that they can do it. And so they go to seminars and go to trainings and read books and enroll in programs and do things like that. And I think that's understandable, but I think it's very mistaken. I think that everybody actually knows deep down what they need to do, but they get in their own way. They get confused by what their body is telling them, what their mind is telling them, which sometimes are very different things. And they know they want to do something, but then they don't think it's realistic. And so they get into these internal squabbles. And so I don't think learning a new piece of information or a new technique is really the thing to do. Now, having said that, one thing that you do need is to actually have a workable plan to get where you want to go. You have to have some kind of a path to follow, some kind of a blueprint. And I've trained people in those kinds of blueprints, and so I understand that that's an important part of getting where you need to go. But what I do is not the only path, it's not the only blueprint, it's just the one that I found works for the kind of sensitive, empathic people that I work with. And so that's why I teach it. But that's only one thing, and it's maybe the least important of the three. The second thing that is really important, you have to have what I call a Buddha motivation. If you remember the story of the Buddha, he had made up his mind that he was going to sit under the Bodhi tree until he got enlightenment. He was just refusing to move, and he was all in. It was that important to him to do what it was that he wanted to do. If you want to live your life, you have to be at that level of motivation. You have to be all in, all the way, or it's not going to happen. Now, you become somewhat better at doing things, yes, but in terms of really living the fullest extent of the life that you were meant to live, you're not going to do that without being all in and going for it, full blast. The third thing, though, and the reason that a seminar, a book, something won't really help, is that a big chunk of what you have to do is really get into people call this different things, but programming beliefs, all this kinds of stuff, habit. But our habits and beliefs and programming are really all emotional. They're all defensive. They're all there to keep us from feeling certain ways or to minimize the extent of the pain when we feel certain emotions, or to help us predict when we might feel certain emotions so that we can stay away from them. And because of that, we all have blind spots about what it is that we're trying to stay away from. One reason that relationships can be so painful is that people just slam into us and they hit our defenses and they disrupt our resistances, and so we keep feeling things and we feel threatened in these relationships because they're bringing forth old stories and old material. And so one thing that's extremely important is that you can't get to be the person that you want to be without some way of finding those blind spots. And since none of us are very good at seeing our own blind spots, that means that we really need somebody else who can help us find our blind spots. But it needs to be someone who is trained and understands the path that you need to be taking to help you get to where you need to be from where you are. And so all of those fit together. You have to be motivated. They have to be motivated. They have to know what the path is, and they have to be motivated to help you find your blind spots. And then you have to be willing to do what it is that they're helping you do. And that's why just reading a book or going to a seminar or enrolling in a program, as much as we'd all love it to change our lives, usually really doesn't. Now, if you're tired of that go around and you're ready to change your life, contact me. I know I can help you change your life, especially if you're one of the kind of sensitive, empathic people that I really enjoy working with.